Hi, Coach Dave from Capital Rehab Group, and want to just spend a couple minutes going over a real popular topic that a lot of people have a lot of questions about, and perhaps you're one of them. And it's a question that people ask is, I know about vacant or abandoned properties, and I know I'm supposed to go out and find them and try to get those under contract for either wholesaling or rehabbing, but how do I get them? How do I find them? How do I get them under contract? How do I locate the owners, et cetera, et cetera. So just going to take a few minutes to go over this information with you. It's actually a lot simpler than you think. We've got some tricks here that we're going to share with you, so hope you enjoy. Okay, so number one question is, how do I locate the owner? Number two question is, how do I make sure I'm getting a good price on the property, or getting a fair price or a great price preferably? And again, these are the properties where you're getting the great prices. Now, here's why the vacant houses make good flips. Just going over these, I'm sure you already know most of this, but number one, you basically have zero competition. It's not a property that's listed on MLS or Realtor.com or Zillow or anything like that. So when you do that extra step and do that extra work to acquire a vacant property, there's a little bit more time and effort, but the reward is there's no competition. So you're not going to be in a bidding war with anybody. You're going to get a great price on the property. You also have a motivated seller. Now, how do we know the seller's motivated? Well, because if they're not living in the property, that means if the property's vacant, they're A, not living there, B, not renting it out. So they must be paying taxes at the very least. In other words, it's not producing revenue and it's not a home for them, so they want to get out of it in most cases. The other good thing is the sellers aren't emotionally attached. They don't live in it. It's probably a burden to them or a thorn on their side, so they want to get out of it. And we'll go over some examples of those in a minute here. So, right here actually, types of vacant properties. There are the zombie foreclosures, currently almost 150,000 of them in the U.S., and these are unique. These are properties where the bank started foreclosure proceedings, but then they just walked away from it there's a myriad of reasons, but whatever reason, the bank started foreclosure proceedings. The owner left, figuring, well, the house is going to be taken away from me anyway. But then the bank stopped foreclosure proceedings. So the owner may not even realize he still owns it. So you may contact that owner and say, hey, you still own this house. Are you willing to sell it? And geez, I can offer you cash. I can give you cash right now for it because I'm going to rehab it myself, or I have a cash buyer for you because I'm a wholesaler. He's going to jump at that opportunity because you just found money for him. So that's a really cool scenario. Inherited property. This is really popular too because a lot of times people will inherit property from an out-of-state owner. For example, down here in Florida, Sarasota, Tampa, Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, West Palm Beach. Those areas are real popular retirement areas. And granted, there are retirement areas everywhere in the country, but those in particular, you get elderly couple who eventually passes on and they leave their property to their kids. Well, the kids don't even necessarily want to travel down to the property. They don't want the property. They don't want to maintain it. They can't afford to pay the taxes on it, whatever. They're looking to sell it. And a lot of times it'll just sit there because the siblings are squabbling over who gets what, or they just don't feel like dealing with it. It's amazing how many people will have a property worth $1, $2, $3, $400,000 and the house just sits vacant and they don't deal with it because they're too lazy or whatever, or they don't realize, hey, as soon as I sell this, I'm going to get a whole bunch of cash. So believe it or not, that happens. So that's an inherited property owner. And relocation. This happens all the time. House might have been listed with an agent, but the listing expired. Nobody is currently marketing the house. Divorces often leave houses abandoned because something happens, there's an infidelity or whatever, and a couple splits up, and they both leave, and the house just sits empty because they don't want to deal with it. You think that wouldn't happen, but if I go out to my front lawn right now, I can drive a golf ball and hit a house right in my neighborhood where that happened. This house sat abandoned for 3 years, 3 long years, and it was a situation like that, a divorce type of a thing. So these are happening, and it's a $400,000 house right down the street from me. So this is happening everywhere in every neighborhood, things like this, where people just walk away from houses. Again, you wouldn't think it would happen, but it does. So if you reach out to that owner, get their information, and offer them money for their house, you're going to solve a problem for them and get them money, and you're going to get a good deal because they don't want to deal with listing it and all that stuff as long as you make them a good, fair offer. Okay? And vacant rental property. Same type of thing as before. You got out-of-state owners who are not using a property management company. They think that, they live in Wisconsin and they bought a property in New Jersey and they figure I'll just, rent it out and place ads on Craigslist in New Jersey, and they didn't realize what a hassle it was. So now it's been sitting empty forever and they just haven't dealt with it. And there's that out of sight, out of mind thing that goes on where they're just not paying attention to it. They're paying the tax bill every year that comes in, but they've just sort of forgotten about it. So when you call them up and say, hey, I'd like to buy this from you, you are their hero. So a little bit of work goes into this, but it's worth it. Here's an example. This house sat vacant for several years. Owner needs to sell quickly. Perfect for a turnkey rental property. This is something you would buy, put minimal money into, and flip it or sell it as a turnkey. Put a renter in it, sell it as a turnkey rental property. We are this seller's only option. He can't list it with the realtor. He has no other options. Realtor's not going to list beat up properties like this. So you, as a rehabber or as a wholesaler, are the only people that can help these people. So it's a win-win-win. You help the person by getting the house sold for them, getting them a fair amount of money, cash for it, a fair offer. Help yourself by getting a property at a great price and then making money on it. And win number 3 is you help the community by fixing up an eyesore of a house and making it livable and providing a home for somebody. Now, how do we find the property owner? That's the tricky part that everyone has trouble with. Now, if it's bank owned, a notice will be posted on the front door with the servicer's contact information. So that makes it easy when that's the case. You can also just do a county property search. Most counties have online record database or access that you can get to. Some of them you may have to actually go, depending on what county you live in, you may have to actually go to the county office to get that data. But no one else is willing to do this, so it's worth the extra effort. That's how you get these bargain deals. And the last technique is skip trace service. It costs a few bucks. You can use a website like intellius.com. But this is for someone that if you think about it this way, if you looked at 10 different houses and 3 of them were bank owned and another 6 of them you found through county property searches, but 1 you couldn't find, guess what? No one else could find it either. So if you spend a few bucks on the skip trace service, you are really the only person who's going to be contacting this guy or this girl, the owner of this house. So that's actually, you'll spend some money up front, but it's worth it because if you spend, let's say, do a skip trace on 20 different houses, spend a couple $100, but on one of those houses it's a rehab that you make $60,000 on. Were you glad you spent a couple $100? Yes. Okay. Tip, use skip tracing to find an abandoned property owner's current information. And this is just an example of what the skip tracing websites look like. How to make sure you're getting a great price? Well, guess what? It's the exact same as if you're looking at a property on MLS. Look at the comps, look at what they're selling for. Go out and look at the property yourself. Get a lockbox from Home Depot, leave it on the property, make an offer on it, get that lockbox on the house, and make that offer contingent on a professional inspection. Spend the $150 to get an inspection, get it done right, okay? Get a contractor out there to get quotes on what it will cost you so you're not running into this blind. And this, again, when you're on the 1 yard line and about to purchase a house, this is where you want to have spent money on a contractor giving you a quote if they insist on that. Once you have a working relationship with a contractor, you won't have to spend $150 for that quote, but it's worth it to make sure you don't, you'd rather lose $150 and find out the property's not worth rehabbing than save the $150 and find out that there's major plumbing and electrical issues that you didn't know about that are going to cost you $20,000. So make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's in that respect. Get quotes on the work. And then again, just use that price per square foot pricing model. Look at what surrounding properties are selling for per square foot within a half mile of that property and figure out, in repaired value. So then figure out the square footage of your property that you're looking at, multiply that by what houses in repaired value are selling for per square foot, and you'll have the ARV or after repair value of your property. Then you'll know what you can affordably pay for it, and both in the cost of acquiring it and in repairs, and to know if it's a deal you can do. So very simple. What to do next? Now, if you are going to rehab a house, I highly recommend you grab our Pro House Flipping Guide, okay? It's a very simple to follow. We've had great reviews from it. We actually have a lot of clients who have used it and are successfully flipping properties with it just using this DVD set. It's got all of the fundamentals. If you think of it as basketball, it's got the pick and goal, the pick and roll, the 3-point shooting, the layups, etc., etc. It's everything you need to know about flipping houses and rehabbing in particular, rehabbing houses. Bonus 1, 7 house flipping secrets. These are the tricks that the gurus use that you likely do not know about that will put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket if followed correctly. Bonus number 2, and this is a very popular hot item, and that's the new investor's private bank vault. And this is specifically a list of 162 private investors. So these are hard money lenders and private investors and sources of transactional funding. People who will help you fund your deals. Now, typically you do need some skin in the game. They're not going to fund your deal 100%. I want to be very clear about that. No one is going to fund your deal 100%. Typically, you need around 10% of the price of the deal. So if you're doing a $4,000 deal, you need $4,000. Sorry, $40,000 property, you need $4,000. They'll do loans from $5,000, $5,000 all the way up to $500,000. So it covers the majority of the flips that people do. It includes complete contact information, terms, and email phone scripts. We include a video of that, of the phone scripts, of exactly how to talk to these people, because a lot of people are scared. They don't know, how do I talk to somebody? How do I call these private lenders and not sound like an idiot? Well, we make that easy for you. We've got those scripts included. So just being very frank, if you're considering flipping a house, grab our Pro House Flipping Guide, and we make it a no-brainer by offering you a no questions asked, 365-day full refund guarantee. And we ship you a physical product. This will come in the mail in 5 to 10 business days. However, if you watch the videos and you're unhappy with it, just simply shoot us an email or give us a call, and we'll issue a full refund, no questions asked. You don't even have to return the DVDs. That's how confident we are in our product. We have the track record to prove it. We have successful clients using this product with flipped houses. So if you're interested, grab it. Again, we make it a no-brainer for you, because full 365-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. Click the link below this video to grab it now, and enjoy, and good luck flipping your first house. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care.